All right, Big Bang. Today is Wednesday. It is July 31st. Welcome to the Dog Walk, presented by Barstool Sports. Free Swim Wednesday. Here with Danny, here with Chief. Before we get into it, I want to talk about our friends at Game Time. Listen, Game Time's the best. The official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You guys, in particular, have your eye on anything?
I think Creed's coming here soon.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm
They're
eyeing
coming
that.
at Tinley Park.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull up the date. Also, while we're talking about that, Metallica going to Soldier Field Friday, August 9th. Seeing tickets as low as $77 on the app.
Pray for that field.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True.
Messi's coming here August 31st. I watched that HBO Hard Knocks trailer, so Bears playoff tickets in January. About ready to go.
Friday, August 16th at Tinley Park. Creed tickets as low as $57. So a lot of good stuff going on in the Chicagoland area. Make sure you check it all out on Game Time. They got flash deals for sudden discounts, zone deals for when you're feeling flexible. And it's really the best place to get last minute seats with up to 60% off for your favorite events. So what are you waiting for? Hop on, get those Creed tickets, get those Metallica tickets, whatever you want to do. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DOGWALK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, here we are. How we doing?
Good. I feel like Nickelback could have been like Creed had they just played their hand right. I feel like there was a period where Creed was kind of getting made fun of, and they just played into it, and then everyone loved them. Nickelback kind of just fought back a little with the fans and got even more shamed.
I feel like Nickelback has flipped the script, though.
Now,
Yeah.
but there was a period where you might be getting shamed if you're listening to Nickelback in public.
Oh, definitely. But I feel like it has flipped. And I can't remember where I was, but someone did like a cover of a Nickelback song at a concert, and it went off.
How the hell do we wind up like this?
I think they're just interchangeable. Like that's like Mike Lennon and Andy Dalton. Like they're just the same guy.
Creed is like religious, though, right? Isn't that their thing? Are they more? No. Who am I thinking?
You could spin some of their songs as being religious. I'm 6 feet from the edge.
I guess.
Higher.
But
I thought.
no, they're not talking about fucking Moses, dude.
No, I think that's a thing. I think they are sneaky, like religious.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to apologize?
It's one of those like growing up, remember?
Arms wide open.
Yeah. Remember like Relient K? Like, be my escape. You don't even realize it, but they're like a Christian band.
So people thought they were a Christian band so much that Scott Stapp had to come out and say that we are not exclusively a Christian band.
Yeah, see?
Well, he doesn't help with those song titles.
Yeah.
Arms wide open, higher.
With arms wide open.
One last breath.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. But yeah, they're kind of interchangeable to me.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing. I think they make great music, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nickelback a little more aggressive, I'd say.
Yeah. You could what they both have going for them is you could typically tell a song just by hearing it. Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They got that distinct voice.
And then poor Coldplay got lumped in there because of 40-Year-Old Virgin, that one line. But they powered through.
I didn't know there's like a big faction of Coldplay diehards.
I believe it. They rock.
Yeah.
Do they?
They kind of bother me a little bit, and I can't exactly put my finger on it, but I also thought it was, so they were the first band, if I'm correct, that paid the NFL to do the halftime show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So then I was like, all right, like you're the first ones to step up to be like, can we have this, have the rights to do halftime? I'm like, this is kind of fucking lame. That's like,
why would they do that?
So historically, the NFL had always paid whoever to do the halftime, and then someone got in Goodell's ear being like, hey, this is the biggest show on earth. The band gets unbelievable, whoever's performing gets unbelievable promotion by doing the halftime. We should actually be charging them. So then they flipped it, and I think a lot of people at first were like, we're not doing that. And then
of course that
Coldplay was like, we'll do it.
Of course that happens to Coldplay first.
Yeah.
Smart though. Very smart.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know. I feel like aren't there other things that you could say that about? Like they're getting more out of this than you, yet they're still getting paid. Anything with celebrities.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, obviously it is the biggest show on the planet. Like you said.
Yeah.
Like everyone looks forward to it.
All eyes on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How was your thing this weekend?
What thing?
And
Oh, the
yeah.
parents' anniversary was fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Went to a housewarming party. How was Bocce? Did you guys win?
Ask Chief.
What do you mean?
He was the one that
You're a ringer?
I put the thing on, so you could ask him too.
Yeah, I loved it. It was good vibes. There's food there, coolers everywhere, pretty relaxed. It's a very chill game. I'm trying to think of something that it's kind of like, but because it gets very intense, and the guys who you could tell play all the time take it very seriously, and so like they Zamboni effectively, like they rake the court, so that was kind of funny, and then they have like a tape measure on deck for like because we had one that was literally we lost a point by a quarter of an inch. It was like 16.5 to 16 5/8. So it's like the intensity of it's fun. We got smoked all 3 games. I'm not pointing any fingers, but Spider and White Sox Dave were absolutely horrible.
They'll both take that well.
Yeah. Za was probably our best guy. Okay. So I'm like, did you play this growing up? He goes, no, all the toys I had growing up were we just threw rocks. So I was like, all right.
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was fun. I would do it again.
What's the next sport that's going to hit that pickleball trajectory?
I'm telling you, that's it. That's why I'm fucking running these tournaments, because bocce is elite. And everyone would make fun of me, call me a 70-year-old man. You got your feet wet in it. It is legit fun.
Oh, it's still a sport for 7-year-old men, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
But that's what I like. You could be 8, you could be 80, and you're still on the same playing level.
You need some infrastructure, though.
Yeah, yes, you do.
But like there's good versus great. Like bags, darts, those are all fun, but they aren't hitting the same way that pickleball's been hitting the past couple of years in the way like people are buying.
I feel like
teams.
pickleball's dipping a little.
Yeah, I agree. I feel
even what it's done so far is pretty impressive.
It
Getting
is.
big names on board.
Yeah, but I thought that because felt like last year is when like Tom Brady got a team and all these celebrities got a team, and I thought it was going to go to like this next level, and I feel like it's just not. I really like playing pickleball. I played once this summer already. I really like it. It's just one of those things where it's like I feel like it's not going to get much bigger than what it is.
That's interesting. All these big names are getting on board. What do you mean by that?
Like, didn't Tom Brady buy a team?
Like, like you just said. But that's just rich people being like, hey, someone in their ear is being like, hey, here's what's next. Buy into this. That's all it is.
So
you're going to tell me that Tom Brady's sitting there and being like, that's the future? Fuck.
But it makes the sport way more relevant hearing those names attached to it.
Sure.
Mahomes.
I don't think there's ever going to be any new sports.
I think
it's
you can't say that.
I'm saying it.
You can't say that.
I'm saying it.
UFC legitimately is in the running right now to be a top 3 sport.
It kicked out boxing. We already had a combat sport, and boxing basically died because of corruption and head injuries.
But it's still new.
But is it new?
Yes, it came in like the 90s.
I mean, but like there's been wrestling and all the others, like all the components of UFC have been around for forever.
Yeah, but still, it was
all right.
An octagon cage.
Fine. I don't think pickleball is ever going to be bigger than tennis. I don't think we're ever going to be like, oh, there goes like the Andy Roddick or whatever of pickleball. Like down the street. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. I think we got our sports. Even look at the Olympics. The Olympics have all these sports that were breakdancing, badminton, all these sports that have been around forever. There's nothing that's really breaking through into that top echelon. It's just like the sports exist, and it's like what you were saying. It's just like people are looking for that next thing. I just don't think there is one. It's the same thing with like the MLS. There's a shit ton of money in the MLS. You could buy an English team in the 2nd division, which you can go up to the Premier League with one good year for $50 million. An expansion MLS team costs $700 million.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is fucking insane. And they're never. Then it's like you look at their TV deal. They have a $2 billion deal with Apple over 10 years. So you're making like $20 million a year, but you paid $700 million. It makes no sense. I just think that we have our sports. The sports are set, and that's it.
XFL had like a very short spark, and then also like F1. How new is that?
F1's been around for forever.
Really?
Yeah, but it's really like bursting on the scene.
It had a Netflix show, so then you had a lot of people like kind of pretended to care about it.
I was gonna say I don't know if that we're necessarily gonna get new sports, but you're gonna like in America now everyone fucking loves soccer out of nowhere. I think you just start valuing certain sports more over the years.
Yeah, I think the power rankings,
Like NASCAR,
the totem pole gets shuffled
around.
Right.
Exactly.
See,
That's what it is.
I think it's always going to be football, basketball, baseball, and then fourth place is where you can have some jockeying, I suppose.
Sure, but just imagine telling your 7-year-old self one day you're gonna be a diehard soccer fan.
But I always liked soccer.
Okay.
That was when the World Cup was when I was like 6 or 7 in the United States, and I always liked it. It just wasn't the English games weren't on TV. So once they started putting it on TV, which I think was like 2014, then I started watching it all the time.
I saw one of Nikki Smokes' soccer-related posts, and I saw a couple people commenting like, "Oh, we're gonna listen to this guy. He calls it fucking soccer." But you guys, what can you do about that? Because you can't just start calling it football as an American. and
No,
just
I know.
start watching, but
and
you're never gonna get the credibility while you're still calling.
But
it
I
soccer.
don't give a shit because and I have I've been over to England a few times for games now, and I've been on English podcasts as a guest to talk about Nottingham Forest or whatever, and I'll call it a field. And they're like, "Oh, you call it a field? It's called a pitch." And I'm like, I don't say. I know what you mean. You know what I mean. I call it.
Well, then why don't you fucking make the MLS happen?
Because the league stinks.
So
What do you mean? So
it's it's a competitive level here in America.
but
Take it for what it is.
It's like.
Take it for what it is.
But it's like worse than it. Here's the deal. It is hard to care about the Fire because they're always in last place and they play in Soldier Field and nobody goes. If they build a stadium somewhere in Lincoln Park like they were planning on, what was that, 5 years ago? That Sterling Bay big project. They're going to put
Lincoln Yards.
Yes, Lincoln Yards. They're going to put a 20,000, 25,000 seat soccer stadium in there, and they're either going to have the Fire move there or get like a second Chicago franchise. I would probably get into that. I'm not going to Soldier Field.
Sorry,
Good morning, Danny.
Yeah.
it's for a meeting. Go on.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go to Soldier Field and watch like this team that is bad and in a terrible environment. If they played in an environment that was fun, I would go. I check on the standings because we know a couple of guys on the team now, and I have another friend who works for him. But it's just like when you watch the Premier League and then you watch the MLS, the gap in talent is like so noticeable.
Which city in America has the best soccer team?
The best soccer team? I mean, there are like Atlanta gets insane crowds. They get like 80,000 people.
It's the weirdest sports
So
city
weird.
in America.
But like that's the most winningest.
Well, no, because they're kind of a newer-ish team. I would say like Columbus Crew, Kansas City, L.A.
Isn't Portland insane?
I don't know if they've won, but yeah, like Vancouver, Seattle, Portland all get like at least 40,000 people a game, and they have like their own dedicated stadiums. Like they do.
So they clearly see something that you're not seeing. What are they seeing then?
Who, those fans?
Yeah.
I think they're weirdos. I think that's what it is.
Naturally.
Because I see a lot of parallels between those fans and like the worst parts of hockey Twitter, where I do think there's this thing where like I'm going to be a hockey fan because then I don't have to deal with people like Eddie who have just been like gatekeeping football for forever. There's more like competition. It's just a joke. There's more competition of sports takes about football than there is about hockey. So I think you saw a lot of like these weirdo hipster people being like, I'm going to be a hockey fan and I can have like an outsized voice in like hockey Twitter than I would in talking about football or one of the other big sports. And I think you see the same thing in the MLS where it's like I'm a diehard MLS fan and I can have like my own little niche on the internet. And it's like a weird, like there's these like kind of weird liberal nerdy sports fans.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's hockey Twitter and the MLS are similar. There's crossover in what are those circles called?
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram. Thank you.
Imagine if we just had like bull riding become more regular here.
I tried.
Eddie tried.
I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be giving you the same speech you're giving Chief
Do
about
the
making
voice.
the MLS.
I tried. Oh, it's JB Mooney, 9.95 qualifying right on percolator.
Back to other sports too. I'm so like done. I'm over the Olympics too. Like every time I turn on the TV, it's on, and it's on in the morning live, it's on at night live, or on tape delay, it fucking stinks. And it is like why is Russia not allowed to play? Why?
Bad guys.
Well, if they're bad guys, you can't javelin with us because you're mean. Like, you're mean to Ukrainians. You can't. We're javeling in Paris, and you can't come. Like, they're not pulling out of any events, and they do. I said the same thing about the World Juniors for hockey. We're like, yeah, we're not letting the Russians play because Putin invaded Ukraine. It's just so dumb.
They're gonna fucking bug Simone Biles' bag on our way back.
For what? Bug it for what? They're not gonna do shit except they'll probably do steroids because that's what they've always done. But like invading countries and Russia hosted the Olympics when they invaded Afghanistan in 80. So it's like it's just such a stupid like political nonsense, and it just irks me. Just let them fucking play. It's not change. You're not changing the world by having Russia not participate in the Olympics.
The internet says that Russia was banned for repeated doping violations in 2019.
Can't do that.
They've always done that. Let them dope.
Fucking let them dope.
They came out with a Netflix documentary, and all of a sudden now we can't have Russia in there.
Let them dope, but they'll throw.
So
it.
I want to have somebody. What?
So it's not because of Ukraine?
Pull that up from the screen, Lance. I don't believe that.
You're on tilt this podcast.
Let them dope, but you get thrown in solitary for a weed pen.
Russia was banned for repeated doping violations in late 2019.
Every single athlete from Russia.
No, they just became the Russian Olympic Committee. They just don't represent Russia.
The what?
They
only have 13 athletes there. Like, there's no Russian basketball team. There's no Russian soccer team.
That's just because they suck at basketball.
They've won a gold medal.
Yeah, when?
1988. That's why we did the Dream Team
recently.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, they were probably doping. They're cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think steroids even help with sports like that?
Yes, dude.
Do you think they help with basketball and soccer?
You're on a roll today with shitty takes.
Why is that a shitty take? I don't think steroids help you that much with hockey. I don't. I think it helps with football and baseball. The other sports, you need like way more skill and like
being bigger, faster, stronger will always help you in anything in sports.
True. Only an argument for basketball.
Then why is the greatest soccer player who ever lived 5'6" and a $150? That's Messi. He's not bigger, faster, stronger than anybody. He's the greatest who ever lived.
He's faster than a lot of people.
He's not fast. He walks most of the game.
Okay. I mean, there's exceptions to the rule.
I think that there are certain, like, it definitely with track, absolutely, you got to test those people. But for sports that are more like skill and smarts, like a guy like Larry Bird, okay, like
there's ways around it.
Stojakovic, like there's.
But do you know how much better those guys would be if they had that going for them?
I'm just saying, I don't think it's as big of a deal I think it's a huge deal in swimming. You know, these that have nothing to do with your brain. Like swimming has nothing to do with your brain. Track has nothing to do with your brain. The other sports, baseball too. Like you just sit up there and I'm going to smash this ball as far as I can.
Eddie's going to start doping before Bocce.
I just can't definitively say it has nothing to do with your brain.
What? Swimming?
Yeah.
You swim as fast as you can from one side to the other.
Yeah, but there's also fucking things you got to know what to do to get better on and improve on.
Yeah, what, like flip around underwater, go the other way?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
that's the thing.
Holding your breath.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing what Lance Armstrong was doing, where you're blood doping, you're putting more red blood cells in your stream, like that's a problem.
So you think essentially swimming coaches and track coaches are just useless?
No, you can teach technique. Yeah.
To absorb technique, you have to use your brain.
Yeah, but it's not like, oh, this guy's going to cut here. I have to read the play. You can't tell me that swimming and track require as much thought, an ongoing thought, as basketball and soccer.
I didn't say that. You said they don't require it at all.
They really, compared to the other sports, they really don't. It is you're teaching, even like when you're not teaching strategy in swimming.
I've never been a swimmer, but I'd imagine that there's more than you'd realize.
There might be less. There might be less.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I've never been a swimmer.
It might be about like maybe for the long distance ones, they're like, oh, we're going to pace yourself, or there might be something to it if you're doing a relay, like the order of the people that go. But you're kind of just going as fast as you
What about the get off to jump into the fucking pool when
y'all? Yeah, like there's a technique involved.
Yeah.
Like everyone has the same one, right?
Right.
Like everyone's spinning off the wall the same. They're doing the same kind of stroke while racing.
Have you ever swam, Lance? You look like a swimmer, kind of.
I kind of swam a little bit when I was like 12.
Really?
So not enough to,
Have you
to
swam?
necessarily.
When I was like 12.
Internate?
On a team?
I was on like a co-ed swim team for like a couple of years.
Okay.
So like we would go to like the YMCA and like swim in the pool and like compete.
Okay.
But like I was trash. So
Do you use your brain?
I mean, yeah.
How so?
You have to remember to hold your breath.
Bro, what?
Using your brain. Hold your breath.
Fucking
What
Michael
about
Phelps
breath?
died because he
Different.
forgot to
Different.
breathe.
You compete in different, like it's breaststroke, and then you have to compete in.
Yeah, there's
know
back.
the other ones.
I also kind of don't love that either. I kind of think it's like you should just swim as fast as you can. You shouldn't get a million
I don't know all the different names, but it's like
The butterfly stroke.
butterfly, breast,
back.
back.
Freestyle.
Freestyle, I think, is just
Yeah.
that. Like, I think there should only be freestyle.
I was watching this Leon Blanchard guy. He's like broke Michael Phelps record.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's a fucking machine.
Cool.
He was so far ahead of everyone else.
Yeah. Katie Ledecky.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was torching people too.
Yep. Freaking nature. I enjoy watching it, and I do think steroids would help those sports more so than.
So why are you out in the Olympics again then?
Because I just think it's like boring. Like I don't. Maybe if you had some bad guys in there, it'd be more exciting.
Like a losing villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I could.
I feel like I remember more Olympic athletes from when I was a kid too than now.
See, I've never remembered that. Like that's something where obviously
Yeah.
doesn't trivia champion MVP.
Mm-hmm.
That's something where if there was Olympics categories, like I would be useless.
The Daily Dozen has been putting them out like
Have they?
basically every day. I think
haven't seen 'em.
Jeff's a big.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah.
See, I like the Olympics to the extent where, and this respectfully, but it's like mindless to me. Like, of course, I pop it on, and it's kind of like Pawn Stars. Like,
Yeah.
I just like it's good to sit there in the background. I'll pop my head up, and it's like, all right, there's the American. He's in lane 3. I'm rooting for him. Cool, but like, I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I know the athletes. I'm like rooting them on, following their careers,
Yeah.
and all of that jazz. You know what I mean?
But like, do you remember Michael Johnson, the sprinter in like the Atlanta games? He had like gold spikes.
What year was that? 94?
96.
96?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay. You're a little younger than me. But like I don't know, I feel like I remember some of these guys throughout history, or Kerry Strung, like the gymnast who like did it on a broken ankle.
Sean Johnson.
Like
It's like the same as like March Madness stars, you know.
Yeah.
That's a
kinda.
good way to put it.
But I feel like they were a bigger deal than like I can't other than
Back in the
Biles, like I can't think of a gymnast where it was like Allie Raceman and like you knew a lot of them.
Maroney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for sure.
I have another theory about that too.
Why is that?
Because they're such Nazis about what they're allowing on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean,
Highlights.
they're very strict. For people that don't know, we know more because we're kind of in this world, but like the Olympics are insanely protective of their content.
Yeah.
They don't let anyone repost anything. They give you a media strike right away to like threaten to take away your account. Like they just are insane about protecting their rights.
Yeah.
Which people say is good and bad. Major League Baseball is the same way. People are like, it's fucking stupid. You're not spreading the game. And obviously their argument is, hey, this is our content. Like we are going to gatekeep it because we pay a lot of money to make this happen. And
But then you see like the NBA, the NHL, football, they're all way more lax about it. They see it as like this is a commercial, it's a talking point.
yeah.
Free ads.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I see it and I don't. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's the thing. I pop it on and it's just, you know, when it's with the Bears or like a Chicago team, like before a game, like I'm like ready like to run through the tunnel with them.
Yeah.
This is like not that.
But you would think it would be. And I feel like did you go to Declan's for the TJ Oshie game?
No, I was at school still.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the 2014 Olympics. That was incredible.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you win the game in the shootout, the whole bar is singing that Lee Greenwood, I'm proud to be an American. it was just like so sweet and so much like national pride, and it was our best guys, and like that's a sport where there's more parity, where it's like I watched part of USA basketball against who's Jokic play for? Serbia. And that was on like Saturday or Sunday morning, and I watched some of it, but it was just like, I know, like it's one thing, like if we don't win, it's a disappointment, and you're just kind of like running out the clock, even though they have Jokic, but it's just not as exciting to me.
I do like that there's so many international stars that it makes basketball more interesting, though. Like, Team Canada's fun. Like,
Team Canada's fun. France is fun.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody's playing for second.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they've lost before.
I know, but like that's one of those things, like, how did we lose? As opposed to like, well, they were just the better team.
Yeah.
Like, we lose to Canada in hockey. It's like, wow, they were the better team.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Actually, a guy we went to high school with is in the Olympics for wrestling.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He, like, credit to him, his name's Joe Rao. He's a wrestler. He was really good. He wrestled his whole life, but in high school, like, I think he made it downstate once, and he like lost in the first or second round. So then, like, we always thought like he would be like a big contender, and he kind of underachieved. And he like is one of those cool stories where he like worked his fucking dick off, like was like an All-American at Elmhurst College, and then now he like worked his ass off to get to the Olympics. So
Does he have a
story.
regular job?
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while. I asked him to come in. Hopefully he'll come in when he's back. But that's a good question. I'd imagine he does. I think he does like a lot of camps. I know he used to at some point. You know,
so like wrestling is his.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, if you're that good at wrestling that you're in the Olympics, is he like considered one of the favorites to win something there? Do you know?
I haven't seen a ton. I should try to follow up.
But either
I'd like to see
way,
him compete.
you're the best wrestler, one of the best wrestlers in America at your weight.
Yeah.
Why not? And he's
33 is my age. Graduated together.
Why not try to give UFC a shot and make some money?
Yeah, I think that's where things are changing now, where if you're into that, kind of thing, I think if he was in high school now, I'd imagine kids are doing that, because there's an actual path to a career like that. But I think UFC wasn't really, I mean, I remember he was a big UFC guy. I remember watching the Forrest Griffin fight at his house, actually. So it wasn't like completely extinct, but it wasn't what it is right now. So I think it's just a sign of the times. I'd imagine all these kids are kind of sharpening like a bunch of areas.
Different, as opposed to just being the traditional wrestler.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, because like our guy Bilal Muhammad just won with welterweight, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said he wrestled a little bit in high school, and then got out of it, and then got into UFC kind of later. So and he's 36, so he's older than your guy. So it's like, I don't know. It feels like that's something that.
Whereas Curtis Blades, he won, I think, 215 or heavyweight. He was a state champ at De La Salle.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that is. So I'm surprised, unless you just really love the Olympics that much and that particular style of wrestling.
Maybe, because I know, because he did like traditional wrestling, and now he is a Greco-Roman guy now.
Okay.
Which there's some differences. I'm not like super well versed.
They just grease you up.
That's something I'd need KB in here for.
Yeah.
If you're an Olympian, you can't be having an office job, right? They all have to do something related to their sport on a day-to-day basis.
It depends on the sport. Because I remember my first job out of college, we had somebody who was trying to qualify for something, and they had like, when you're going through like your HR stuff, that you get a certain amount of PTO, or maybe it's unpenalized, if you're like trying to train or qualify for the Olympics. Like it's like a written policy for a lot of corporate America.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's that common? Do they have to write it in?
I don't know how, it can't be that common, but you think about like guys who do like archery and darts, and like there's so many of these different sports that this is the pinnacle where you're not going to be making money or a lot of money, so you have to support yourself in other ways. Where the swimming, I feel like all the big events have different deals baked in.
Imagine that though. Yeah, you're just like an accountant, and then you have to go to wrestling practice every single night.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm sure is a reality for a lot of people.
It has to be, yeah.
1,000%.
But like the Ledeckis of the world,
they're in the
body
pool
armor
24
and shit
hours.
like that.
Yeah.
So they kind of get that.
And I also think that that's more of a new thing, because it used to, one of the stipulations for the Olympics was that it used to be you have to be an amateur. And then I think in the 90s is when that really, because then USA Basketball came in, because that was a big thing between like the old Soviet Union and the communist countries, where it's like versus us, where they would be like, yeah, the Red Army team, all those guys, they would be like, if you watch the movie Miracle, they're all like late 20s, early 30s, who all they do is play hockey. But then the Russians would be like, no, that's a lieutenant in the army.
Mm-hmm.
He's just in the army.
Speaking of which, things that like don't make any sense. So PJ of Illinois had me and Chief out yesterday at like an awesome club in Lake Forest on Valencia. Great event, was a blast. Great guys. Golf makes no sense when it comes to like PGA, USGA. This guy's a pro, that guy's a pro. I don't understand how it all is broken down.
We're just not in that world enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like probably simple, and we're just like such novices with golf.
No, I was talking to him. He's like, yeah, it is kind of confusing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because technically like every club has one pro.
Yeah.
And that pro,
but they're not on tour.
No, exactly.
Right.
But it's like, to me, it's like the pros are the 50 guys we see every Sunday.
Yeah.
Competing,
Yeah. I think the pro is like a club pro is in charge of like giving lessons, and they run that particular club, and then they're like the best guy at that club, I think. Is that what he said? No?
To some extent, I think you're right, but...
Did you have a better golfing performance yesterday?
It was okay. You tell me, the worst golfer you've ever seen.
I mean, you're still miles better than you were in Connecticut 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think your lesson you were worse than the last time I played with you.
Oh no.
Post lesson.
When was we played Old Elm?
Yeah. I thought you did better at Old Elm than you did
yesterday.
Yeah,
maybe.
but it was wet.
Yeah, it was wet.
Yeah, although Old Elm was wet too that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Eddie's coming along.
Here we go, Ed.
Coming along, playing.
I would say, other than we had the pro with us, Eddie's the best putter of our group for sure.
Hey,
Mini Golf Ed. Yeah,
it's an anomaly. We'll see.
I don't think it is. I think you're just a good putter.
Maybe, I don't know. It's now my new, after chatting, chopping it up, it's now my new life goal to try to get on and play a bobolink. Have you heard of this place?
Mm-mm.
So basically how it is there's only like about 12 all-male golf courses in America.
Mm-hmm.
4 of them are in Chicagoland area, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And so we played at one. Chief and I played it at one. It was really nice. Super cool experience.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely something that's way not too nice for me.
Yeah.
But the way people talk about this place called Bobolink is that it's basically like...
It's a frat house.
Yeah, it's basically like Pat's.
Little Rascals anti-women hate.
It's like...
Well, so much so that they have like a line in the parking lot where it's like if your wife is dropping you off or picking you up, she can't cross that line in the parking lot. So, and it's like guys will just like walk out of the locker room, go to the bar completely naked. It's supposedly like a wild.
1950s.
You could play barefoot. It sounds like you could basically play naked.
Yeah.
Guys like hit balls shirtless.
Yeah, so you can
There's
play the
no
shirt
rules.
off. You could drive onto the green. Like it's just basically guys being dudes.
Just dudes rocking.
Yeah, exactly. And that is like that's what I love. Like I just would love to hang out with the dudes at Bobolink.
Yeah, where like other places that are, because I think Bobolink is like $250K to join or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where if other places you're doing that, they have like, all right, no hats on in inside, no cell phones. Like it's very like hoity-toity, very particular sticklers on rules. Where Bobolink's just like our only rules, no rules, except for no women.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what's funny is because now this is, and I bring this up too because it interests me now because I never once had an interest in golf from year 0 to 31. Like I did not give a fuck. Like didn't care. Like now that I'm like kind of learning more, it's like I keep reading up on shit like that. And there's apparently controversial to be an all male club.
Yeah.
You don't
Dude,
say.
why?
Can't the fellas just have one thing?
Yeah,
that's
it's not
just
like
for
they're
us?
like, we don't want women because we hate them. It's like, hey, we just want this to be
They got time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not fucking misogynist.
No, but
It's not.
they're always freaking out.
They're
not going to like that.
They're always freaking out about not being able to be members at our golf clubs.
They wouldn't even like it, but they want the invite.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but it's like there's a million clubs.
It's all
that play.
right. Yeah, pick one of the other loser ones.
It's not like it's not like they can't vote completely. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
Let,
That was like the thing where like Augusta National was like that forever, like no women, and then they finally had like so much public pressure that they're like, all right, Condoleezza Rice can join. It was like we're gonna have Condoleezza Rice. So I bet you she's been there like 4 times. But it's like, oh, we have a woman. Yeah, we have a woman now. Is everyone happy? Can everyone shut the fuck up?
exactly. It's not. It's just.
Yeah, go make your own golf club.
Yeah, well,
I don't
if
want.
there were all women golf, I'd be happy. That's great.
Yeah,
Do they even have cart girls or are they cart men?
They have some employees.
yeah,
Like I was surprised
Female
by that
employees?
at Old Elm. There were some waitresses
Yes.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
which I didn't expect. I thought it'd be completely.
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
blink twice.
Yeah.
All right.
which was interesting. But I just don't understand the logic behind how wrong it is. I don't. Does that make me an
exclusionary.
asshole?
It's exclusionary.
I get that argument, but I just don't think it's that serious or that venomous.
I
you know?
agree, but here's the other thing about these places being exclusionary. You and I can't join either. Okay, so it's not like
That's true.
it's 100% of women can't join and 99.999% of men. So it's not like that. You're talking about the smallest fraction of the population. Just let them. They paid for it. Let them do it their own way.
Yeah. No, and then because even so, there's another one called Butler National, which I think is in Oak Brook.
Yeah, and then there's Black Sheep.
Yeah, and so Butler had a PGA Tour event from like the 70s, and then in the 90s they passed that you can, if you're an exclusionary course, you can't hold a PGA event. So they're like, all right, Butler,
Right.
you either allow women or you lose the PGA event.
And they were going to give them like the U.S. Open or something.
Yeah,
it was not going to be like the Western or whatever. It was like it was a major event. It was either U.S. Open or the PGA Championship. And they're like, hey, we want to come back to Butler. And they're like, great, love to have you. But you gotta have 2 female members. We're like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck
And they
yourselves.
decided no.
Yeah.
And it would have like it's a difference of like I was reading of making it like a super profitable like club, but like if they don't want to be profitable, they just want to be what they are.
Yeah, let them be.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Like
It's like McDonald's should have never started selling salads. You are what you are.
yeah.
You can't change for the people.
Yeah.
And their salads are just loaded up with sugar anyway, so it's like fake. It's fake health.
Yeah. I don't know if that's controversial, but
Oh, you're gonna get canceled for this.
Yeah.
I truthfully don't see it as being anti.
Yeah.
I just see it as like, all right, like
President of the frat ed over here.
that's just how they want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not.
Yeah. No, and I agree, and I do feel like when people bring that up, like, oh, but it's like they're excluding almost everybody. Like I said, you and I can't get in either. So
If you were to simply be like, oh, you could join if you want, all of a sudden it's not a problem for the girls anymore. They want to be invited to prom, but they don't want to dance.
yeah,
Yeah.
they just want to be like, you can't say no to us.
I guess so.
We got to pump the brakes, turning into an anti-girl podcast.
No, like
It's like 2 in a row. Yeah.
no, like I would love if they.
Yeah, the
They're
girls.
all women club.
We've been to one of these all men clubs. It's just recliners everywhere. You don't want anything to do with it.
Big TVs.
Yeah,
Exactly. No, I like same thing with like frats and sororities. Like they tried to make that a thing where it's illegal and you had to make them co-ed.
that's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, we still got all boys, all girls high schools in Chicago.
Yeah,
Is that next?
like if I'm missing something too, let me know. I'd like to know, but I just don't understand where it's like,
I don't think you are.
yeah, this is just how we want it,
Yeah,
and it's that simple.
Start an all girls club.
Yeah,
that's what I say. Yeah,
exactly.
what's stopping you?
That'd be great.
The men.
I would be for that.
It would probably be hard to get enough members at an all women's club.
Definitely.
Yeah,
You think so?
yeah. I think if you look at like golf participation rate, and that's the same thing. That's why
And I'm not.
if we're gonna really lean into anti-women on this, it's one of those things where like I never understood. It doesn't seem fair to me for athletic scholarships to be like if we have 85 football guys in scholarship, we have to spread 85 female scholarships. And I do like women's sports, great, whatever. But like men participate in sports at such a disproportionate level to women, really at this point based on interest. Like they're just guys are more inherently more interested in sports. So why shouldn't the scholarships and all the opportunities kind of follow that percentage, whatever that percentage is? So if 3 times as many guys play high school sports as girls, shouldn't there be 3 times as many scholarships? Does that make sense?
Are you saying you're anti-Title IX?
I think Title IX could get a tweak. I think it could get a tweak.
But I think it's more so, my interpretation of it is that, hey, these other women's sports, obviously they're not on the same pedestal that, men's basketball or men's football would be. But like they're still competing and they deserve to have an allotted amount of scholarships, which I understand. Like college athletics is college athletics. I get that.
Yeah, this isn't a fully fleshed out take.
Yeah,
but
I disagree with you to that extent because
and it's like I do want people to be able to play sports that want to play sports, but at the same time,
because that's not even exclusive to a women thing. You're saying about like men's track, like that's a similar thing where they maybe in my head it's just like you should have, if you have profitable sports, and everything's different now with NIL and everything, but if you have like, maybe if you have certain schools where it's like, women's basketball is very popular, like UConn and Tennessee or wherever, like, yeah, like they should be on full scholarship. But if it's, Southwestern Missouri and they're D1, do they, I don't know. I got to think this out a little bit more, but it feels like they have more opportunity for less participants on a national scale. Like if you're a high school basketball, if you're a good high school girls basketball player, it is probably easier to get a scholarship than it is as a guy. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But I think that
because you have less competition, because you have a ton of girls who are just like, I don't care about basketball.
But then I think they have less scholarship spots, though.
I don't think they do.
Really?
I think that's the thing about Title IX is that across an athletic department. So that's like, obviously I'm a hockey guy. I love college hockey. So the way it works is that if you're going to have a men's team, like the Penn State guy who owns the Sabres and the Bills, he's like, I want Penn State to have D1. You have to fund both.
Yeah,
and they have to have equal amounts of scholarships for both, even though at the youth level, hockey participation for boys is way, way higher than it is for girls. So
I guess I just don't see the harm of having both.
If there's only X amount of dollars for funding, there's no harm in it. It's probably a good thing. It is a good thing.
I think the bigger problem is just let them have as many fucking scholarships as the endowment allots.
Yeah, I mean that too.
Right?
The whole thing, everything's so confusing now because all the landscape is changing. But it is one of those things where you would have like a kid who, like I knew kids that I played, prep school hockey with, who ended up going to the NHL, but did not have a full scholarship for hockey. And it's the same thing in lacrosse because it's like you have, let's say lacrosse, you have 40 guys on a team, and baseball I think is like this too. But you only have 16 full scholarships to give out. So it's like you get 25%, you get 20%, and they just kind of spread it out. And then you might have one guy who gets a full scholarship. And that just is odd to me.
So I don't know. Maybe that.
I don't know enough either, but it's a
nice tinfoil Tuesday on women's sports.
No, it's not even tinfoil. This is just what it is.
All right, then. We could wrap this up. Chief, bad takes for the episode?
No, good takes. Sorry, I want to mend some fences and understand our enemies a little bit by inviting them to the Olympic Games, just how we always did.
All right, accepted. Then. That's it. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all tomorrow.